in the middle of the Civil War. Those supporters of Marius, by the way, they call these guys the populares. And again, what kinds of people supported Marius? The common people, yeah. They call them the supporters of Marius. They call these guys the populares. Populares. But what kind of people support Sulla? The senators, the senatorial aristocracy, exactly. So they call these guys the optimists. Factions developing in Rome, the populares versus the optimists, the supporters of Marius versus the supporters of Sulla. All right, Sulla, with Marius out of the picture, he's died in 86. Sulla completes his campaigns and he has some success against Mithridates, not complete success, and restoring Roman authority with these lands. In any case, 85 BC, Sulla returns from the east, regains control of Rome, and in 82, later that decade, 82 BC, he will be named dictator for life. With Marius out of the picture, Sulla, having returned from campaigning in the east, having regained control of Rome, he will be named dictator for life. He compels the Senate to name him in this position. And what's the problem with this? What was the purpose of the office of dictator in Rome? Yeah, now the maximum term of dictator is 6 months, and the purpose of the office of dictator, times of crisis. The consuls are unable to get the job done. Rome is threatened. It's time of emergency, time of crisis. You appoint one man, give him full power of the state to bring that crisis to an end. And again, maximum term, whether it brings that crisis to an end or not, supposed to be 6 months. So Sulla's appointment, that's contrary to the traditional intention and length of the office of dictator. Yet another indication of the great corruption setting in Rome in the late Republic. But is there anybody who can do anything about it? No. Sulla, with that army standing behind him, fully supporting him, not supporting Rome or anybody else, there's nothing anybody can do about it. Well, as dictator, one final reform of Sulla, he'll increase the Senate. He'll double its seats from 300 to 600. And of course, appoint all those new senators himself. He doubles the Senate from 300 to 600, further strengthening the power of the Senate in Rome. All right, well, 79 BC, Sulla, convinced that his work is done, fully restore the power of the Senate, he will step down from power. He's becoming ill. He steps down in 79, and in the following year, 78 BC, he will die of illness. Sulla, becoming ill in 79, he steps down, goes into retirement. He doesn't have long to go, and he knows it. Goes into retirement. The following year, 78, he will die. Thereby bringing this first civil war to an end. Although, has it really come to an end? Are there still these factions out there competing with one another? Absolutely. We are still in the middle of revolution. All right, well, so any questions about this first civil war? Details, anything you want to repeat? All right. Well, the example of Marius and Sulla, their careers, all it did was to intensify factionalism and discontent among the Roman people, the populares versus the optimists, and their experience ultimately fostered the ambitions of individuals eager for personal power. You got the new guys stepping forward, the next Sulla, the next Marius, the guys who want to be those guys. And the first of these ambitious men to step forward, wanting to be the next Marius, or wanting to be the next Sulla, is a man by the name of Pompey. Civil War, number 2, a man by the name of Pompey. Gnaeus Magnaeus Pompeius. In fact, he will be given, this guy, because of his military achievements, great military achievements, because of his military achievements, he will be given the surname, the Great. Pompey, the Great. Question? In fact, he gets that surname at the age of 25. He had been a lieutenant of Sulla, and because of his military achievements, Sulla gave him that surname. He's just 25 years of age. He gave him the surname, the Great. What did that do to you, right? Yeah, exactly. Well, he was a very popular military leader. He'll be elected consul in 70 BC. And as consul, Pompey the Great, as consul, though he had been a supporter of Sulla, Sulla's lieutenant, Sulla gave him that title the Great. consul, immediately he starts reversing the reforms of his predecessor, taking power away from the Senate and giving it back to the people. Not because he liked the people. At heart, he's a senator. He supports the senatorial aristocracy. So why does he carry out these reforms then? Well, not so much necessarily to weaken the Senate, but to gain the support of the people, right? Because he recognized the tremendous potential the support of the people would give him. Another indication that, was there a...
What year did he become?
70 BC. 70 BC is elected consul. Yeah, and immediately, as consul, he begins reversing the reforms of his predecessors, taking power away from the Senate and giving it back to the people. And I do have a bust of Pompey here. Here, look at this guy. Remember those busts we threw up a couple classes back of those Roman Republicans, those men of value, the guys with gravitas and instantia, serious, tough guys who look like this. Remember these guys? Those dedicated citizens of the Republic, dedicated to the state, not to some general, not caring about themselves, but caring about Rome. Do you see those values in this guy's face? I don't see them. I don't see those values. I see a guy who cares nothing about Rome, cares about himself, his own wealth, and his own power. And in any case, this guy, immensely popular. His popularity not only securing him the consulship in 70 BC, but securing him for him military appointments in later years. 67 BC, for example. You don't have to get these details down, but in 67 BC, he'll be sent into the eastern Mediterranean to clear the sea of pirates. The pirates had been harassing Roman shipping. And you see these parts on the map with the diagonal lines? They represent pirate-dominated areas. In Crete, that's a nice location for pirates, isn't it? It's right at the center of the eastern Mediterranean. From there, those Roman ships, merchant vessels, sailing all over the place. The pirates attack them, take all the goods. So he's sent into the east to clear the Sea of Pirates, which he does in 67. Following year 66, he's sent into Pontus to deal with Mithridates. That guy's still stirring up trouble. You see his operations once again. This guy's out of control. Pompey will go in, defeat Mithridates, take some land away from him, restoring Roman authority throughout the Aegean. And the process of defeating pirates, the process of defeating Mithridates, Pompey will not only win tremendous prestige for himself, he will win tremendous wealth for himself. In fact, as a result of these eastern campaigns, he becomes one of the wealthiest men in the Roman world, Pompey. Well, while Pompey is over here beating up on pirates and Mithridates and everybody else, in the West, one of the best-known figures in all of Roman history will begin to rise to prominence. And who is that? Gaius Julius Caesar. It's related that Caesar, one of many busts we have of Caesar, it's related that Caesar was born. How was he born? Yeah, the Caesarian section, C-section, right? He was from one of the oldest and most noble families in Rome. Trace his ancestry back to who? Romulus, Remus, Aeneas, and ultimately the gods and gods, especially Venus, who attaches himself directly back to Venus, builds temples for and everything else. Now, though he's from one of the oldest and most noble families in Rome, he was very popular with the people. He was a nephew of Marius by marriage, so automatically, those people who supported Marius, are they going to support this guy? Absolutely. Yeah, he is. While Pompey is the most prestigious man in Rome, one of the wealthiest, Caesar is the most popular man in Rome. Now, what's Caesar going to do? 60 BC, he's going to make his way to Rome. He had been campaigning successfully in Spain, and he's making his way to Rome. He wants to run for the consulship. He had been a quaestor, he had been an aedile, been a praetor, he worked his way up that ladder, and he wanted to run for the consulship. But the request to run for the consulship, to run for election, was denied him by the Senate. You see, in order to run for public office, you had to be present during the election, you had to be present in Rome. Well, he couldn't get back in time because he had been campaigning. He was on his way back. He sent word ahead, asking, can I run in absentia? The Senate, fearing his popularity, they say no. In response to that rejection, Caesar will band together with Pompey. He'll form an alliance with Pompey and a man by the name of Crassus, Marcus Licinius Crassus. They'll form an alliance.